What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I actually got a session in with one of the Plyos members, Tyrus Trevino, and yeah, really cool to connect with one of our members and someone. He's a bit more than just a member, like he's someone that has been like super intuitive, really a great coach that is constantly asking questions, looking to develop what he's doing within his practices. And I got the chance today to get out down to Newport and get a session in with him. I felt like it was a really great session in that we discussed a lot of maybe how he's dealt with certain issues like patellar tendonitis, and just some of the things that come up within his practices and stuff. So have a little watch here. I'm going to get into it right now. I do introduce him obviously in the next video and stuff, but yeah, I thought I'd do like a little clip after the session. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Got a great sequence of the tiers and us going through the Speed and Power Intermediate program still in week 3, session 1 today. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it, and yeah, let us know what sort of content you want me to carry on creating. I've been trying to rip it with these just workout programs that, or workout sessions that I'm doing with different people, or just doing them on my own, and just giving you insight and a little bit more depth as to what I might discuss and how that might help you within your practices. So yeah, let us know below in the comments. Appreciate it.
All right, so we are going to get into the session. I say I'm with hopefully someone who will become my buddy, Tyrus. He is a Plyos member as well.
Yes, sir.
And that's how we kind of got connected, which I still find baffling, man. Like, I wasn't living here like 3 months ago, and we might have spoken a few times, and then to come out here and then you were like, oh yeah, like I literally live up in
20 minutes away from each other. Yeah, unbelievable, man.
So cool. So yeah, we're just discussing some knee pain that he'd gone through last year, and how he'd got to a stage now where he feels a bit more happier.
Yeah, it's not barking at me when I'm
yeah.
walking downstairs anymore.
If
I'm jumping 30 inches plus, it might have something to say about it, but yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do some extensive stuff today anyway. So like I always tell people, if you've got knee pain, like probably the worst thing that you can do is to do like max effort jumps off of 2 feet. But when you do like single leg stiffer stuff,
100%,
you've got so much more of a stable base for you to just pivot off of. You've got like everything else is supporting that knee, so it's not taken through like massive range. So we're going to do some extensive, quite a bit of unilateral stuff. Obviously, you know, at any point you need to call it on any of the volume, then we'll make those adjustments. Personally, I feel okay. How do you feel?
Good.
You feeling good?
Beautiful SoCal day.
Beautiful SoCal day. It's meant to be shit this end of this week, right? So
that's what it looks like.
We've got to enjoy it.
I'm fleeing. I'm going to New York. So
okay.
If it rains, I'm out of here. Hitting 30, by the way. Hitting 30 years old. So on the New York trip. But yeah, beautiful day. Feeling good.
All right, cool.
Feeling good.
So we're going to go through like a basic. We'll do a basic A skip. We'll take a step back. Actually, we'll go from here just up to the camera.
Yeah. So like I said, I generally just do A pop.
Yeah.
A skips are cool, but so with the A pop, usually I'm just hitting like that.
You hit like that.
Is that cool with you, or what do we think?
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll do 2 variations of it. So we'll do like just a basic skip.
Okay.
And then we'll go to the A pop. So that's kind of how I would start with it. There you go. That's an A skip right there. There you go. He gets it. And when you go through like an A skip, like I always tell people this, if you feel like the mechanism is all lift your foot, try and flip that. Try and flip that idea and make it all about hitting down with the foot. Yeah. Allow the contralateral leg to do its job from this leg switching down. This will pop if this goes down.
Action, reaction, yes sir.
Exactly. So there's a reaction. So I'll show you again. So if it's just to focus on down, 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 and you can see there's like an active attack to it.
Yeah.
And I would actually say it's even more apparent with the A pop. The A pop is such a weird. I always tell people this, like people are like, oh, what's a skip in comparison to like a hop or a bound? I'm like, well, a skip is a hop, bound, just repeated. But an A-pop is like it's like a leaping pattern or a
100%.
2-foot leaping pattern, and then you're popping one leg up. So
for me, it's like
I'm going to struggle to get into
this. It's like a pogo with a knee raise is essentially what it's like for me.
It's like this. There you go.
Yeah, nice and reactive.
Fun in the rhythm.
There. Cool. You want me to go A-pop?
That's it. Good, there you go. Nice. Do you still find that even in the A-pop, like there's a more of a need to lift the foot rather than to hit down? It looked better than the A skips for sure in terms of the.
My focus is down.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, patterns can be tough to break.
Yeah.
So yeah, my focus is definitely down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, probably could.
I always teach people as well, if you teach down, it also can support where you want to land on the foot and where you want to put the foot. If it's always about up, it's like a secondary thought to think about what's happening on the ground.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a nice emphasis to be like, right, I'm going to go down, and where is that down landing?
So right under the hips, and then we're thinking just like mid-foot here?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Right, cool. Let's do like a running A now. So it's just like a high knee run.
Okay.
Exactly the same premise. Focusing on down, 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 down. Even if it's a little slower.
Yeah, I could sense it on that with the high knee. Like I'm just going up. So
just going up.
Focusing on that attack under the hips is going to be critical for that.
Exactly. All right, cool.
Just some of the, like in baseball, you'll see some, you would call it motor morons, or movement morons.
Yeah.
So I had some of that, like with the A-skips, like I said, in college, man, like it just took me so long to get a grasp of that.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing, you were trying to learn patterns at what age? So like 19?
No, it's too late in the game. Yeah, it's not
crazy.
too late, but,
but
it's like I should have been doing that when I was 13 years old.
Yeah. And that's why you've got kids at that that are getting to 19 and have done track. They might have left track, played football, whatever, and they can still nail that down because you've just done so much of it. And
it's ingrained, man.
Yeah. Every warm up, you're hitting it. So
yeah.
It's you notice though, as soon as you start to get it, you're like, oh, I'm starting to grasp these. It's all about patterns and rhythms, isn't it?
100%.
There's so many sports that don't teach it, and I'm like, why would you not teach that?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get why.
No, or like I am more, I would say, on the reactive side. Obviously, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely do better in like shallow, pop, deflection, stuff like that. And the fact that I never knew that until I discovered it on my own at like 23 as a trainer.
It's crazy.
It baffles me because think about the athletic potential. Of course, it turns into a what could have been scenario.
Yeah, but like you as the athlete could have, or the coaches could have picked you apart as an individual and said, this is maybe where we would fit better work for you, rather than maybe doing so much like slow strength work, or if you're pitching in baseball, maybe there are things to get you prepared to throw that would be short and sharp and reactive.
For me.
For you.
100%.
Exactly.
And in pitching in baseball, there is like, they are guilty of like having like one model for how you're supposed to throw. That model is built for guys that are 6'5", 220 pounds, your kind of prototype pitcher. But there are all shapes and sizes in pitching. And for a more elastic or reactive mover like myself, probably could have been tons of benefit there. Or maybe even nudging me towards soccer. That sub-max locomotive stuff. So.
Or change the position, or finding ways for you to
It's empowering. I think that's ultimately, it's empowering when you learn about this stuff, how you interface with the ground, how you move through space. So to me, this should be day one of any kind of performance. Any kind of performance or development program.
All right, cool. So we're going to go through 4 light tier movements using the week 3, session 1 of the intermediate program, Speed and Power on Plyos. So we're going to start with, like, I feel like I just need to get some like light leaping patterns in me, especially. So
let's do it.
So we're going to start with a crisscross leap. So we'll maybe do, let's say 15 landings of these. I think it says 10 meters, but that's fine. We can do these.
Try not to be too toesy with it.
There you are. I always tell people this as well, that like actually in a leaping pattern, it's not too bad to be a little, like, you can be a little bit more up on the toe there. And I think people, I try to teach people to land in more of a forefoot position, but a leap is where you can get away with it, right?
I think the problem is when it's just that, and I have plenty of athletes, even high level guys, just plants are flexed whole time.
Yeah,
like,
it's just,
I tell them guys, like, and again, there's nothing wrong, 4 foot's fine, but I tell them like, that's a dancer toe, that's a ballet toe. Like if we can get some pretension.
Some pretension,
just some pretension. And then again, I think ultimately, like we were talking about patterns and ingraining it, we want it to be reflexive, right? Like I don't think you need to, if you're doing like a max effort leap, to just be like really cranking those toes up. I've noticed over time, it's just become a little bit more reflexive.
Yeah,
so I
like
hit the
short
ground,
and snappy.
and then pops back up, and I think there's just that neural component to it.
100%.
Where my body learns how to pretension and stiffen. It's for a good land, right?
Exactly. I think this stuff teaches it massively, right? Just doing like the lighter movements and learning it in here, 100%. So then it can like scale up from there. Right, cool. Let's go 10 split stance leaps, and then we'll come back on the other side.
Sure. I was doing some switches. Looked like we were going the same side.
You're good.
But again, it's like rhythmic though for me, like anything that adds in some elements of switching and like some, even like with my bounds, like I know you do like just the standard arm counter movement. But with the bounds, like I just implement that rotation. Of course, we'll do whatever bounds we got planned for today, but.
That's, I wonder if that's massively from throwing in, like you like that separation. So when you're bounding, if you're like coming across the body to boom, boom, I wonder if that's just built into the body. Right, I'm gonna go the other side. We'll go 10 split stance on the other leg. Cool, feel all right, getting there. All right, let's go. I think it was just a little group of bounds. So we just come back. These would be a good test in terms of how fatigued my lower legs are.
All right.
So we just go 10 bounds. Just again, super light and easy.
Cool, just 10 total bounds?
Yeah, just 10 total.
Yeah, knees feel good today. Of course, we haven't really like targeted them too much, but
no, we haven't attacked them just yet.
I was so deep in the tendinopathy cave though, dude, even just 10 degrees of flexion, like it was pretty gnarly, man. But feeling good, feeling bouncy.
Good. And this one let's go this way, and we'll do a set of 10 leaps backwards.
Backward leaps, let's do it.
Yeah, all right. Cool, that was nice. It was nice to get some load through.
Definitely.
Load through my posterior side. All right, let's have a look at moving on to some medium tier stuff.
You've done it with like the true, just like normal arm counter
well,
movement?
I mean, I'm not going to cut you down for. You can use a single arm shift or a double arm shift.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we're gonna go through some more extensive stuff with the medium tier movements. We'll start with just ramping up some leaps, and we'll gradually get into the unilateral stuff. So just 15 yards of just medium tier leaps. All I'm going to focus on is just trying to give myself a little bit more air time.
Got it.
Nothing fancier than that.
Got it.
Whoop, over rotation. So I always struggle with that. Like I always struggle with when I get moving back into more, like when I just turn up the intensity, that I always struggle when I'm doing leaps forward, like over rotation. I'm like, I've got to like center myself every time. I get far too ahead of myself. And I guess it is kind of weird because you're trying to move forward, but on 2 feet. So the thing on 2 feet is to normally roll through the foot more.
Right.
So you have a much deeper knee bend.
Definitely.
But we're still trying to keep it relatively stiff. So it's like, it's kind of a weird balance.
Yeah, there's a little awkwardness there for sure.
Yeah. But you do eventually find it. All right, cool. Split exchanges over 15 yards. So
cool.
again, here I'm going to focus on reactivity on the ground. That's where I find I get the most out of a split exchange. It's just that feeling of boom, boom, boom.
Absolutely.
All right. Where did I lose mine?
It's a small price to pay for being bounced. I gotta find my magnet, I think.
You got the magnet?
Uh-oh.
We both just lost our mics and the magnet.
Right?
If not, it's got the clip anyway. There it is.
Cool. That's near the end there.
The split exchange leaps always feel nicer for me than a normal leap. I don't know if you feel the same, but
that's what we were doing the split earlier, and I was exchanging naturally.
Yeah.
So
you just get that reflexive, like, ooh, boom,
I just love that flow. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it too. Absolutely love it. Cool. Right, let's do some bounds now. So it's 2 sets of 20 yards. So just gives us the ability to get moving a bit. We'll say 20 yards, maybe here.
That looks about good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So yeah, don't worry at all regarding the arm position.
Yeah.
You want to single arm, you can single arm. I'll single arm with you, and we'll talk about those, what I feel in terms of inherent differences with that. When you're doing some of your medium tier bounds as well, guys, just give yourself a couple of yards to run into this, because you find like what we're chasing in terms of the medium tier stuff is we want it to be relatively stiff. So the first couple are always going to be pretty poor, and you're using maybe 5, 6, 7 yards just to get going.
100%.
Just take a little move into it. If you're scared to be like, oh, I'm not going to be able to handle it, then just walk into it, but just get moving straight away. Cool. All of this is just flow. Let's just keep it smooth, keep it rhythmical.
Cool, so we want a little run into the line.
Just a little run into the line, and then we're going to bound out to the
Sounds good.
I feel like I could probably go to 30 just to feel like I'm getting into the rhythm of it.
I agree. I didn't really catch my rhythm there.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're moving back another 10. There you go.
And I think I'm still so guarded from the tendinopathy. Of course, it feels fine.
Yeah.
But I think I'm still just guarded, so I naturally make it more so max and horizontal.
Yeah.
As opposed to really kind of, getting that deflection.
Yeah, you're probably at a point where, you're just trying to, and we want that. We want you to get to a stage where you're just maintaining velocity rather than having to create it.
Right.
So I know there's obviously still a level to, you're having to attack the ground to maintain that velocity, but yeah, we don't want you to feel like you're actively really trying to be like, oh, come on, I've got to keep moving or get going.
Right. Yeah, at the end of the day, still kind of a deflection.
Yeah.
Still pretty reflexive.
Yeah.
All right,
let's go.
cool.
Nice.
That's all right.
That was a bit better.
Yeah.
Felt like I could get into a groove there, and get moving with it.
Yeah.
What I always feel like with the single arm shift is I always feel like everything is really flat for me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of reminds me of what you might see in a cross country skier where they're like this. It's keeps them low and they're shh, shh. Whereas when I double arm shift, I feel like I carry a little more in the air, which I think I like more, because keeping lower in the single arm one, it's like a pulling action. Whereas I can get a bit more of a pop when I double arm shift.
I can feel that. I see that when I watch videos of my bounds.
Yeah.
It's just pure pull. It's like pure pull. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
So that again can be something that you can pull on, is that maybe a single arm shift is if you're focusing more on this for projection and accelerating. Mm-hmm. Single arm push or pull.
Yeah.
And then when you want to do maintaining velocity based work, maybe stand up tall and boom, boom, just real short, quick, sharp landings and takeoffs there. don't know, it could be something that you can play with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going back to some bilateral movements. We're going to do 2 forward, 1 back on leaps. What I'm going to do is I'm keen to watch you do this.
Sure.
You mentioned just then that you get a little toesy on it sometimes, but I want to see how it kind of
cool. 2 forward,
out.
1 back.
2 forward, 1 back on leaps.
We're thinking just like 10 yards or so? Or?
Yeah, we'll go down to just in line with the camera.
Sure. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, a little, like, the funny part about it is, okay, cool, you're a little bit up on the forefoot, but actually the execution of it is super smooth. I think in order for you to maintain that stiffness and reactivity, you're trying to shorten that ground contact, and you're trying to put your foot out there and react back off of it. 100%. If you were to land full foot, maybe that would dump your knees forward and would piss your knee off. So
definitely.
There's 2 sides of the argument. You're like, oh, but we want to get back to you doing it in the same pattern that you're doing in every movement. And then at the same time, I'm like, well, you're also stealing a win right there.
Yeah.
In figuring shit out without having to actually think about it.
Yeah, no, because a lot of this stuff, like, it's not that it should come natural, but it does feel right. Like, for you, whatever your movement profile, athletic archetype is, for me, like, that, it feels right. Yeah. And like you said, it's still smooth. Yeah. It feels good. I feel like I'm gliding. I feel like I'm floating. I feel like the change of direction is
it's like bum, 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 bum. And it's
totally, no, that internal rhythm is there for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. Right, I'm going to go through it, see how it feels, see if it pisses off my Achilles.
All right.
Cool. I always find it hardest when I'm coming from backwards going forward again. Like people.
2 back, 1 forward?
I find the backwards movement's fine, but it's translating when I've moved backwards and then starting again. That's where I find sometimes I'm in a hole.
Okay.
So I'll sometimes you might see like big internal rotation. I'm like trying to figure out how I then, because what people don't think about here is, and again, there's so many components to what you can learn from this sort of stuff, but so many people don't know how to organize their torso to align and stack their body effectively. So if you're doing deceleration work, right, you're coming into a line here and I'm trying to decelerate, change direction, whatever it might be. Not enough people are thinking about the orientation of their torso and how I get swings in my torso to make sure that I can apply pressure 100%. In the right place. Because if I come in and I go, the first thing that's going to do is either going to dump a load of load onto my anterior knee. Yep. I'm going to lose that position and my torso is just going to fall forward. Yep. Am I able to just sit into it enough so I can really apply pressure out in front of me? Yeah.
And that's what I find, like I said, I work with a lot of teen athletes. I find so much value in this. Like some athletes, like I have athletes, they might do really good at deflections off the ground. They might be really powerful. Yeah. Kind of these like more like linear, like sprinter types, right? Yeah. But they play soccer, they play football. So they need to learn how to manipulate torso, orient the center of mass. Be able to control, and especially I love like the side ones too. Yeah. Like just dealing with that foot outside center of mass and being able to manipulate torso and have some rhythm, have some good timing with it. Yeah. And it will expose these guys, like I said, those purely vertical, purely linear athletes. Yeah. They really struggle with these, and I just think they just need a hell of a lot of exposure to these ones. So use these a lot with my developmental population.
And you know what, that makes me think about people bash the people that you see that move through ladders. And the one thing that you just mentioned then was when you're training young athletes to put their foot outside of their center of mass. Now everyone talks about the displacement portion of it. Not many people talk about how these guys keep their center of mass here and actually move their feet outside of it, but don't orientate their torso so that the direction of force goes through their whole body. And that's what's creating the displacement that you want. You can't create displacement here anywhere near as well as you can when you actually move the whole of your torso in a position where you can drive
Yep.
Because you're ultimately trying to move your center of mass.
Yeah.
So when it's not in the right position to be trajected, you're just dancing.
Yeah, yeah. No, so you're teaching projection too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And it's not the drill that's the issue, it's the execution, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we could probably extract value
Yeah,
out of a large number of drills that catch a lot of flack on social media.
Yeah.
And with the proper execution and the right detail approach, I mean, you can still find some benefit in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Cool. And right, last one we'll do is a slalom leap.
Okay.
I love slalom leaps. I find, again, it's kind of like the split exchange. It gives me a place to attack.
Yeah.
Sometimes on the spot, it's kind of, you don't get quite that ability to be, oh, that's just out away from me, and I'm going to attack that.
Sure, and we're just looking, I know you just posted about these, I believe, the other day. Yeah, so what are we looking at, like 45 degrees here, or?
Yeah, just out to this,
Cool.
Not massively, not like as far as you can, but just enough to keep that rhythm and keep that synchronicity of what you're trying to do. Cool. All right, again, we'll go down to the camera. I don't know what it is, but certain movements my mic doesn't like.
Yeah, no, I can feel it kind of wiggling around.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Those feel good though. I like those a lot.
Yeah. The slalom leaps are, like I said, just the reactivity element of it is really nice. Really love how, I don't know what it is. It's just that feeling of like attacking outside of me that my body just feels great at doing.
Yeah, and of course, it's pretty intuitive with change of direction field athletes too, right? So
huge.
It just feels nice. I think that should be, pre-game warm-up right there.
Yeah, all day.
One thing.
Yeah.
Tell that to these athletes, man. They feel like shit. They need something else. They don't want me to load them up axially with a barbell.
No. They don't want someone to piss their patellas off. They don't want something to,
Or more neurological load too, right? Like the skill component. Like,
you can do these and they can be like really rhythmical. They can be almost therapeutic in a way.
Yeah. Joint greasing, like you said.
Joint grease, like 100%. It's that. Yeah, you can. It doesn't all have to be like maxing intent out of a deep tier. It can be therapeutic in a way. It can be.
100%.
You can oscillate. You can. Yeah.
So again, with Plyos, like such a big fan too, because I think it fits in. You have all these different spheres within the training world. You've got rehab. Yeah. I see plenty of utility for Plyos. You've got athlete development.
Yeah.
You've got performance.
Yeah.
I think it fits into all of those.
Yeah. It's hats off to Eric for that. It's he's seen that globally and realized that. Yeah, I guess movement is movement, and I think we all benefit from a wide variety of different movements at different amplitudes and speeds and directions and rhythms. So it's like everyone's training so like this, or just really narrowly, and we've got 5 movements that we'll do for the next 3 months, and we'll get better at it. And I'm like, cool. You could also just do a slightly different variation of it, man. And that other one that you did for three months also might get better because you're pretty much training the same thing.
And it's going to drive the learning even further. Yeah. And I think more importantly, it's going to keep it fresh for the athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Like they need to be stimulated in there. You can tell them that you need to do 8 to 12 weeks of the same movements over and over again. That's the only way you're going to get better. But I think the spirit of the athlete though, like they want to come in and be like, well, all right, what's on the menu today? And it's close enough where they can still connect the dots and realize and understand, okay, there's what I was thinking is there's variety within the structure. So Plyos is a structure, but there's endless variety and infinite scalability within it. Yeah. And I think from an athlete perspective, because that's who we're mostly working with, like it's about the athlete. It's not about us. Yeah. It's not about the
so egotistical of us being like, oh, we've got to build a strong-minded person that's going to come in, and the thing that they change in their mind each week is how much more intent they've put into that next movement. And you're like, come on, people don't work like that. That's just boring. It's 100%. Like we're not Ivan Drago from Rocky, right?
Yeah.
We're not a machine. We have feelings, we have emotions. We come in, we're like, I don't want to do this shit again.
100%, man. and I was doing that for a while, and it grows stale. You can see it on their face. It's pretty obvious. So I think it really taps into the spirit of an athlete.
Hugely. Yeah, hugely.
Absolutely.
Hugely. Right, let's go 10 leaps, but let's try and keep the leaps from here to where the camera's at. Okay. And again, I want to tone this down now and make it therapeutic in a way that it's not like we're not trying to smash the ground. We're control, rhythmical, and yeah, just allow joints to move in ways that we've not been moving them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going, is this deep tier or what?
Yeah, deep tier. Apologize. Okay. Yeah, deep tier. Yeah, 10 leaps. It doesn't have to be any kind of height. It's just smooth movement. All right.
I always say, tell the athletes, sink but don't get stuck.
Sink but don't, yeah. And you find yourself on a couple of them, you're like, oh yeah,
I've got to
get out. I got stuck on a couple of them, but when you, again, I think that's about center of mass.
Yeah.
I got stuck on one where I was like almost more on my toes, and I got stuck and then I'm like trying to pivot my hips so that ultimately for you to create pressure through mid stance on this, your hips have to, like people talk about the shins dropping all the time.
Yeah.
When you're in heavy flexion, the hips traveling, so the hips pivoting forward. Everyone talks about shin drop, but no one talks about how much more displacement the hips are moving into that space in front of you. So if they move, the shins will roll.
And I think that's what threw off my rhythm. Well, one of them, I went straight power lifter, hips back. Just like, again, it probably just, I still have to detrain some of these patterns. Detrain the unnatural patterns and then train the natural patterns back
you get it into session. We're going from like real stiff movement and now you're doing a completely different mechanism.
It's a little different.
You're like, shit, okay, I've got to figure that one out.
Again, variety.
Variety.
You gotta love it.
Exactly.
You gotta love it.
Exactly. Let's do a 2 forward, 1 back rhythm on this.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just chuck this one in here because it's just nice to see a difference of how we've gone from the stiffer stuff to the deeper stuff.
2 forward, 1 back.
2 forward, 1 back. Okay. The big thing is when you go onto that landing back, your hips are going to almost hit your heels, and then you're going to want to push out of that rather than allow the hips to go forward, rather than the shins to go forward. Okay. I can give you an example. Woo!
All right.
That one back, like I end up stiff on my forefoot and like almost like freezing into that to then go forward.
Okay.
It's pretty cool actually. Let's see.
This one's a little new for me. We'll see. All right. 2 forward, 1 back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
A little different for me for sure.
So you can see when the leap that you've got that lands back, you can see that your hips dump like this. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but if I also like to see it with some translation to almost to like being confident with like an acceleration mechanic. So you can try and teach to land on more of a forefoot, so that the hips then can project out from here, rather than you trying to kind of get out of this position. You're actually then more landing on the forefoot, trying to keep that stiffness through the ankle.
Totally. I think it was just like the different cadence and rhythm of that.
100%.
But I'll do the deep tier oscillatory where we're going forward and back. That was ugly. But
I get it.
But once I do it a few times, obviously it feels a lot better. But and I'm really cueing that with the athletes to get into that kind of forefoot acceleration kind of position.
It's so nice.
And then once you get that smoothness rolling, they feel pretty sharp.
Oh yeah. I love it. That flow back and forth is so nice.
The same thing happens to them. They'll get heels and then hips, and then it's just
it's
impossible to reverse that momentum.
Exactly. All right, cool. We'll finish off with some split exchange leaps, and then maybe just a set of swan hops.
Okay.
So we'll do these on the spot actually. I think it's nice to see how with a split exchange leap, like I'm so vocal on having a really good split, so that when I drop, I don't get shin travel forward.
Okay.
Because a lot of people will want to come into here. We can do a shorter stance one, but on here I want to see a clean drop of my torso up and down. So I'm getting big load through both quads in doing so.
Okay.
So yeah, let's do 10 of them on the spot. Keeping a good split. Get that torso up. Nice. That's really nice. Really nice. You can see your control of your foot, which I love. It's like you like really lock in as you come to here. Toes are doing some great work to stabilize. They're kind of like gripping into here. People don't like a gripping effect, but you're like, if you've got to stabilize like this, if your whole foot's being rigid and controlling that stability of the ankle, well, that's pretty natural.
Reps 1 and 2 felt a little off too, and I think I just made that adaptation a little bit on the fly, just kind of naturally, to again add a little more stability.
Absolutely.
To it.
Absolutely. Oh, everybody talks about deep tearing, how good it is through ranges of joints, but the metabolic effect is there, man.
Bro, I was just gonna mention, man.
You get gassed out.
My quads. Yeah.
Oh yeah, quads get pumped up. You're getting blood flow there like no other.
I've been doing a lot of the oscillatory stuff. I'm on my tendinopathy rehab, so all the isometrics, tons of stuff that's building muscle endurance, but it's tough to replicate what we got here. So it packs a powerful punch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, we'll do a set of literally just 5 yards of swan hops. Big thing with swan hops is I want to try and maintain good stability.
Okay.
I haven't been doing much of these recently, but what I find straight away is that I've got to try and create internal rotation from the hip so that it's not extending like this. So that it basically is just heavily focused on this left hip that I'm working on now that's hopping. So I want to focus on control. Woo! And try not to over rotate and get that feeling like I'm falling. I want to control it.
Okay.
Let's see.
New exposure here, so we'll see how this one goes.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. There you go. Keep that chest down and just extend through the hip.
Okay.
That's it. Nice.
Little knee cave there.
It's good though, you're registering it as you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. The single leg stuff took me a little longer to adapt.
Yeah,
with single leg stuff.
The stability factors of it are
I had pretty poor balance growing up, I think. Pretty collapsed feet.
Yeah.
And again, not that the shape of the foot is what matters. It's the function of the foot, but nevertheless, still, it was collapsed. It wasn't just pronated.
Yeah.
It was collapsed. So, so the single leg balance stuff took me a little bit of time to get.
I think it takes a lot of people time to grasp. And I've not helped us in that we put it last.
Yeah, right. No, I'm a little cooked. Yeah.
Exactly. This is exactly what I'm feeling. So, right. Now we're going to go to our unfavored leg. This is probably your unfavored leg, right? Chose your dominant side first.
Well, I chose the side that doesn't have tendinopathy.
There you go. That's your dominant side right now. Cool. Again, big thing for me on this right side is always balance. There you go. Control. Whoa.
Okay. But with the hip dominance, this should be okay.
Yeah, it should be fine for your tendinopathy.
And then you want me to kind of a little dissociate a little bit, like just exclusively through the hips and then not come up through here.
Exactly.
I think that's challenging for me right now.
It's really challenging because everyone's so used to extension like that, right? Everyone wants that hip extension and not the extension. I guess it's through the knee more, but you are pushing through the hip, but to maintain forward tilt, it's like counterintuitive to the typical strength and conditioning world, right?
Right. All right, we'll run it.
Just think slow and control. There you go. Those are some nice ones. Even with a slight pause, that's really nice. And it becomes wholeheartedly again about controlling the forward shift of your shin so that you're not feeling like you're over rotating. So
yeah, slowing it down helped there.
Yeah, huge.
For sure.
Huge. All right, man. I think that's about me done.
Yeah.
That's like enough. I'm like, if I want to come back to fight another day at the end of the week, that's me done.
It's crazy, the cumulative effects of this stuff. It's not one exercise, you're not killing yourself with any one movement, but it adds up. And
it adds up.
A lot of bang for buck.
I'm hoping lower legs will feel great though. I feel like it will on this turf.
Yeah.
Like if you're not doing plyos on turf and you really struggle with trying to get a good volume on hard court or on an outside court, whatever it might be, just get onto some turf if you can. Get on some soft, not softer grass, but just grass, and it makes a hell of a difference because you can just get that much more volume of work in.
100%, and it allowed me to keep working throughout my tendinopathy kind of journey. So
that's a steal right there.
It's huge, yeah, a good bridge,
Huge.
Bridge into the higher performance and harder surface stuff.
Exactly. And there will come a time where you are going to move into that, and you're going to play on different surfaces and test things out, and that's fine. But you might just go and chase like a little stimulus on that, and then gradually just build up where you can do more capacity on to harder stuff. But if it takes 6 months to a year, it does. Yeah. That's the way that I look at it.
Dude, metabolic load, hips and knees, bro, is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. Lower legs feel pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a little more adapted in that direction anyway.
Yeah.
Started implementing more deep tier stuff a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
More oscillatory, so probably not as much load, but I can feel it, bro.
Oh yeah. On the, like I said to you, like just that bolster around the glute.
I feel it, man. I feel it. Unbelievable.
They don't know.
And quads are a little blown up, but really just blood pumping.
Yeah, same for me.
Feels like a pump.
Same for me. Well, I appreciate you, man. We'll have to jump on again soon. It would be
run it
and like get into a spot like this and doing a workout together, man. I
Newport
appreciate
Beach,
you.
Gotta love it.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that sort of stuff. I'm new to this YouTube, so I appreciate the help. Thank you.